Hello, this is Davina Anderson. So today I'm going to be talking to you about another principle in my favorite book, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. So if you have this book, it's actually chapter 10. It's talking about the power of the mastermind. And I'm going to talk to you today about what a mastermind group is, how you do it, and how you can start one today in your own life. So if you have this book, grab it. So the power of the mastermind. Basically, a mastermind group is when you're getting together a group of people who think similarly, and it's basically designed to solve problems. And you want people who think similarly to you, who have the same values as you, because if they don't, you'll probably go off on tangents and down rabbit holes, and it won't be as productive. So I actually do have a mastermind group. We meet every week. There's 5 of us, and it has added tremendous value to my life. Anytime I have a problem or a situation, I can turn to them, and then I can also provide support and feedback for them as well. So in this book, this is the 9th step towards riches. He says, power is essential for success in the accumulation of money. Power is required for the accumulation of money, and power is necessary for the retention of money after it's been accumulated. So he's saying the mastermind may be defined as coordination of knowledge and effort in a spirit of harmony between 2 or more people in the attainment of a definite purpose. So back when this was written, Napoleon Hill got a lot of his advice and a lot of these principles from Andrew Carnegie, who was the wealthiest man in the world at the time, and also after studying like hundreds and thousands of successful people. And he came to the realization, he even says it here, he says, analyze the record of any man who has accumulated a great fortune and many of those who have accumulated modest fortunes, and you will find that they have either consciously or unconsciously employed the mastermind principle. Great power can be accumulated through no other principle. And then later it says, when a group of individual brains are coordinated and function in harmony, the increased energy created through that alliance becomes available to every brain in the group. And then it talks about you're directly absorbing power from the great universal storehouse of infinite intelligence. So a mastermind group compounds your energy and your thought power. So when 2 people come together, again, it's compounded, it's squared. If you have 4 people coming together, if you take the square of 4, you'd have 16, basically. 16, the power of 16 people, that would be the power of a mastermind group. So this is something I didn't really understand. When I read this book on my own, I went over the chapter on masterminding, but I didn't quite understand how I could apply it in my own life. So now, thankfully, after I got Bobproctor as my mentor, he taught me how to do this in my real life. So he said the first step is to find someone that you have really good rapport with, that you think alike, and you always turn to that person for advice or help. That would be a person you would start a mastermind group with. Then you can do a mastermind group with 2 people. It's better to have a few more so that you get different perspectives on a situation. But Bob would say no more than like 10 or 12. And he really says the ideal number is about 8, like no more than 8, because then you're running out of time. There's a time constraint. So I can go over some guidelines on how you could start one on yourself. So again, Napoleon Hill, he says the mastermind is an alliance of 2 or more people working in harmony with a positive mental attitude towards a definite end. So the average mastermind, like I said, is 2 to 10, no more than 12, and ideally is around that 8 number, just for time. You meet regularly. You would pick a date and time that works for everyone, and you try to commit to the same date and time for that it would, again, works for everybody. Even if you're in different cities, states, countries, you can still do this. The people that are in my mastermind group, they're from all over. I have one in New York, one in the Dominican Republic. So they're kind of scattered everywhere, but we all meet via Skype or Zoom. We've done Skype before too, but we usually through Zoom. Then the time. You want your meeting to not go any longer than an hour. If you start getting off track and going beyond an hour, that's how you'll lose people and people will not stay committed. So try to keep your meetings to only an hour. If it goes less than an hour, that's great. There's no problem with that, but keep it no longer than an hour. When you first jump on your calls, you want to assign everyone a number everyone. So that's the order that they'll be speaking in. Obviously, there needs to be a leader, a note taker, and a timekeeper. You would start every mastermind meeting by reading the mastermind principles. There's 7 of them, and I can go over those here in just a second. So you would read the principles at the beginning of every meeting, assign your numbers, and then you would start going around the room. Your timekeeper would give everyone like a minute or 2 minutes for each person, and you'd start by saying your wins for the week. So you want to start on a positive note. So if it were my turn, a win for my week would be, hey, I've got all my studying done. I'm continuing to work on my goals. I did my thinking into results lesson today. I wrote out my goals. I'm staying focused. I'm staying on track. I am using affirmations. Anything like that would be like a win or something good that happened to you. Then after everyone has done their wins, then you would start back over with person 1 again, and the timekeeper would determine how many minutes. It's usually about 3 to 5, depending on how many people you have. And then you would ask for feedback and support. You'd basically be saying, hey, this is what's going on in my life. Maybe I was just let go from my job. I was fired from my job. Whatever happened, you would basically tell your group, this is the situation I'm going through. Do you guys have any feedback or anything that might support me through this situation? So you want to keep your feedback and support, whatever situation you're going to present to them, try to keep it as short and concise as possible, because if you drag on for 3 minutes saying what your problem is, you're only allowing the team like a minute or 2 to give you feedback. So there is a timekeeper that you're only allowed 3 to 5 minutes to address your problem and for feedback. Once your time is up, it's time to move on to the next person. And this is serious. This is why I'm taking this serious, because the mastermind group, it's something that you don't have to do this. This is not mandatory. This is something, you're not paid to do this. This is something that should be held in the most sincere and genuine way, that you are coming to this group to help people. You're offering help and you're receiving help. And everybody should come not from what they can gain, but for what they can give to the other people. So it's really a beautiful thing when you have everyone working together in the spirit of harmony and providing value and feedback that will help the other person. And then at the end, you would assign roles for the next meeting. Who would be the leader, who would be the note taker, and who would be the timekeeper. And then that would be how you would end your meeting. So this is something that I have found tremendous value in. I have been doing this for almost a year now. I had a different mastermind group, and now I have a different one, but it is very valuable, and I find that this is something that everybody should be doing in your own life, and try it. I could help you with it. If you wanted to mastermind with me, I would love that, because we all go through situations, and sometimes maybe the advice you're getting from other people may not be the best advice. Where the mastermind group, when you're surrounded with like-minded people, the value that you can get and strategies, it's just like nothing I can even put into words. So some of the principles that you would start your mastermind meeting with, There's different statements that you would say, but I'll just read through the part of them so I'm not dragging this video on. I release, and then there's a statement about what you release. I believe, I understand, I decide, I forgive, I ask, I accept, and then a dedication and covenant that you're agreeing to when you enter into a mastermind union and group. If you're serious about developing your own mastermind group, let me know and I can send you the full principles and the guidelines. Like I said, the principles are actually, there's sentences for each one of those, but I don't want to drag this video on. But it's very powerful. So this is something I think everyone should take very seriously. It was important enough that Napoleon Hill put it in the Think and Grow Rich, and it is chapter 10 in here if you want to read it and learn about it yourself. And Andrew Carnegie even used it. And he was the wealthiest man back then. And there was a part, Mr. Carnegie's mastermind group consisted of a staff approximately 50 men with whom he surrounded himself for definite power for manufacturing and marketing steel. He attributed his entire fortune to the power he accumulated through his mastermind. And actually, I did some research about Andrew Carnegie. He knew nothing about steel, and that's how he acquired his wealth. But he said he did it all through his mastermind group, through the people he hired. They knew everything about steel. He just had to get them to work together for one goal and one common purpose. And he did it through masterminding. Now, he had a group of 50. We're suggesting you only need about 8. But I think, this book, Napoleon Hill, he has made millions of millionaires. So if it's in this book, I think it's worth considering and putting a practice into your own life. So if you have any questions, I'd love to help you, love to answer any questions you have about it. There is great love here for you with love and gratitude. Davina.